Hey everybody, Movie Reviewer next door here, and I'm back with another review. And this time, I saw Aaron. This is just a second. There you go. So it's not horrible to look at. This is a crime horror thriller film, I guess, directed by Coke Daniels from 2021, and it stars Taryn Manning, Corey Hardrict, Jasmine Burke, and Gregory Allen Williams. In this film, a racist woman makes it her personal mission to displace the new black family that has just moved in next door to her, but they won't back down without a fight. So, what did I think of Karen? Well, a few years ago when this came out, this was a bit of a meme. People talking about it on Twitter and saying, "Oh, is this an SNL skit?" And the funny thing is, even though I really don't care for SNL, especially nowadays, with how disgusting they've been with a lot of their humor. Like, not disgusting as in gross out humor, but disgusting as in preachy and very political, which is not how I like my humor. I mean, it can be done right, but they don't. Um, this movie is a fucking massive piece of shit. So for the first time in a while, y'all are gonna get to see me rant a bit. Um, not sure I'm gonna get like overly like, you know, screamy or anything, because that's not me. But this is a massive piece of shit of a film that I think could have worked if they had had a more tongue-in-cheek tone. But yeah, let me grab my jacket real quick. It's a little cold here. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Didn't expect to get cold, but let me get to the cast and then I'll talk about this masterpiece. Taryn Manning is Karen Drexler. She's next door neighbor. She's racist. She's white. And I'll talk about that. Um, Taryn Manning is an actress I've seen in films before. I saw her in The Vault with Francesca Eastwood. Excuse me. I liked her there. I think she's a good actress. The Breed with Michelle Rodriguez and a bunch of others. There's a fly. Um, yeah, I do think she can work given the right circumstances here. I think she is basically taking the piss out of this role. She doesn't seem to be really taking it seriously at all. And if anything, she seems to be playing it as if the film is a comedy. So I can at least say that she was memorable. I can. That might be what the one extra star I gave it is for Taryn Manning. Corey Hardrict plays Malik. He's one of two of this black couple that have come into this area that's predominantly white. I might have seen him in something. I might remember him from Gran Torino. I remember him from somewhere. I just don't exactly know where. He's he's the worst part of the acting, Mhm. as most of his dialogue is very mumbly. He doesn't he doesn't talk well. He's very like there's a bit where he's smoking weed in his car and that he's just like, yeah, don't tell anybody about it, and I don't you don't need to tell my wife about that, and she'll kill me if she knows about this. Like that's literally how Corey Hardick talks in this fucking movie. And I was like, is he actually high? Did he like drink before getting on set? Because I know I'd want to fucking drink if I was in this piece of shit. Um, but yeah, he's the worst part of the movie acting wise. Jasmine Burke as Amani, she's the girlfriend, maybe wife. I forgot if they said they were married. But she was fine. She's at least trying. She's trying to give a dramatic performance. It's just that the dialogue they give her is so shit and she has barely a character. Um her main character trait is that she's a woke black woman, and I'm not saying that because I'm with that crowd that's like, oh, every movie with black characters is woke, which isn't what they're saying or what I would say, but there's literally a line in this movie where she says she loves her boyfriend or husband because he is a woke black man. That's a literal line in the movie. Go ahead, watch it, you'll see. Um, but yeah, have I seen anything she's been in? No, I have not. I have not seen a single thing she is in other than this. But yeah, she's at least trying. And Gregory Allen Williams plays Charles Wright, who is a lawyer, like an equal rights lawyer or something. I think that might be the guy. It's either him or someone else in this film that is a literal equal rights lawyer or something, or civil rights lawyer. He was fine, I guess. This film, I can see why people thought it was an SNL sketch. It's horribly executed in pretty much every single way. So I can start with the cinematography. This is one of those films that does this thing that fucking irks my nerves, and I don't say that very often. The camera work is one of three things in this film. You've got one, drone shots over like the same place multiple times. So just the drone above, camera pointed down. Oh, look, we got a helicopter shot. Oh, wait, it's a drone shot. It's not like you can fucking tell. Or like I swear to God, in one of the shots, you can see the shadow of the fucking drone. You'd think that you'd at least see that when you're editing the movie. Um, there's that. There's still shots where the camera's just put on a tripod where the actors are just talking, or it's like a dolly shot back where it's like the camera pulling back ever so slightly while characters are talking for a good minute or two in one single take. Or it's a shot outside or inside where the back and forth. Like, let me show you what I mean. It'll be like, "Hey guys, how you doing? I hope you did a good job. I hope you did a good job on your project. Yeah, yeah, yeah." It's like that. Literally. Literally like that. Let me try to adjust it back. So you got one of three types of shots in this movie. There are some shots that are okay. There's like shots that'll come from behind a wall and it'll reveal a room and then it'll stop in the middle of the room, which I'm like, okay, there you go, you did something. Um, but for the most part, it took me out of it and it looked really fucking cheap. Second, the acting. For the most part, the acting is whatever. It seems really pantomime. This film is acted almost as if it was originally going to be a comedy, but instead it was changed into like a Lifetime Channel movie. Which again, I've seen Lifetime Channel movies that I've enjoyed. While the Children Sleep, directed by Russell Mulcahy, I think is a decent one. Mad Mom with Romy Rosemont and Carrie Matchett from Cube 2 and Cypher. Um, Time of Death wasn't that bad, even though I'm not a fan of the ending. Like, there are Lifetime movies or TV movies that I've enjoyed. This felt like a TV movie in the fact that it felt so dirt cheap. Like, this is from BET. Now I know this was an early BET Plus film, I think. I think that's what it was. Let me make sure of that. Yeah, it was released on digital 3rd of September 21 and on TV through BET 14th of September. Which this film, ooh, like the first shot of your film is Karen. There's like chalk drawing or chalk writing of Black Lives Matter. And you see Karen come in with a bucket of water and she throws it on there and starts scrubbing it. And then we go to the opening credits or the title. If that doesn't tell you what shit show you're in for, then I don't know what to say to you. pretty much any movie that mentions Black Lives Matter at this point, I'm just like, okay, I don't want to fucking hear about it anymore. Because given all of the shit we know about Black Lives Matter now, watching this film nowadays, knowing that Black Lives Matter was a fucking scam organization meant to make people money and not actually to help black people at all. If anything, it ruined the reputation of a lot of black people. Um, then yeah, I am way less likely to pay attention to a movie that is pushing Black Lives Matter as a good organization. Not again, I know there's going to be somebody who's like, "Oh, you're racist. You don't think Black Lives Matter." That's not what I'm saying. I am saying Black Lives Matter is a shitty organization that fucked over black businesses during the Summer of Love, the peaceful protest where you're throwing fucking Molotov cocktails everywhere and the city's on fucking fire. That's a peaceful protest, but going into the Capitol apparently and people only getting shot for walking around is a fucking insurrection. But never mind. Um never mind that. That's a topic for another day. But the thing with how this movie treats it, they act like Black Lives Matter is such an amazing organization at first of all. And there's conversations that just made me want to blow my fucking brains out because I've heard people like this and they've said very similar shit. There's a bit where Karen goes to a house party or a housewarming party that the our main characters are hosting, and the people were like, Black Lives Matter, the police put 6 bullet holes in the guy without even blinking a bit, blinking or whatever, and then the one guy says Black Lives Matter. Like, who the fuck just says Black Lives Matter out of the blue in the middle of a conversation? And then she said, don't all lives matter? Which again, I'm like, okay, you want me to hate this Karen character, but she's right. All lives matter. Like, black people, white people, Asians, Mexican people, like, all everybody matters. So I don't know why it's just section it off to only Black Lives Matter or whatever. And then they go on. I have a couple of quotes here that I fucking like despised. She said, "Why do only Black Lives Matter?" And then the character that she like calls the cops on to like be removed from a restaurant says, not all lives are in danger anytime there's an interaction with law enforcement. Sorry about that. Had to pause the video recording for a second. But that line really told me a lot that whoever wrote this, I think Coke Daniels wrote this, is so against doing any meaningful research to back up his claims that not all lives are in danger anytime there's an interaction with law enforcement, which is a complete fucking lie, given that if you look up statistics for pretty much every state and the entire US as a whole, white people are killed by cops way more, quite a bit more often than black people. Do I make a big deal out of that? Or do white people make a big deal out of that? No. Also, funny thing they should say white cops, and every cop in this film, except for one that's behind a desk, is white and racist, and there's one white cop that's not, but he's a pushover. So apparently, if you're not racist, you're a pushover, and if you're white, good job writing. Uh, do you know statistically who kills black people the most often? Other black people. That's the truth too. Look it up. Not even just that. Then you get the line where they say stuff about white people being privileged because because slavery um, and how they were held captive by white people. sh- Karen goes on to say, I've never owned a slave in my entire life. Then one of the black characters says, yeah, but your ancestors did. Ancestors owning slaves has nothing to do with the descendants if they literally don't own slaves. I understand this character is racist, but you're making arguments that have literally nothing to do with this character. You do not know this person. This is a person, this is the first time these people are seeing this person because she's invited to this like family thing. Not only that, but you're assuming that even though you don't know that do you know what else do you know what other nationality are white people? Irish people. You know who were also kept as slaves in the South at the same time as black people or African people? Irish people were kept as indentured servants, which is a fancy word for slavery. Don't know if you knew that, but thought I should give you a little heads up, Coke Daniels. And the dialogue doesn't even stop there. Like again, the line of main bitch, I don't know what her fucking name is. I don't care. She says to her to her husband, I guess it is husband because I wrote down the line. You are a strong, beautiful, intelligent, and woke black man, which is why I married you. What a great line there. They used the word woke. Did it sound any better than people who call like every female starring thing woke? No, it didn't. It didn't sound better. And the oh my god, the fact that this was released by BET is so I want to say disgusting, but I don't even know because I don't know if anybody gave this any actual thought. This feels like a joke. Like it feels like something that you'd make up as a joke, like you do for a YouTube sketch, like a 10-minute sketch of oh Karens and all that, and like that you do like oh look this racist Karen and you get Taryn Manning. No, here's what this should have been. Here's what this should have been. Taryn Manning can stay as Karen, but instead make it a bad grandpa type thing where she's going around saying ridiculously racist stuff, but still funny stuff, like jokingly racist things, like stuff that you have a pantomime villain say that would be racist. Like, I don't want to give any examples, but y'all know what I mean. Like Blazing Saddles type stuff that's like funny and see what people's reactions are. Again, like a bad grandpa or jackass type of thing, like a man on the street type of thing. Just Taryn Manning with um like a hidden camera or something or hidden cameras on the street or whatever going around saying racist things. That would be funny. That would be worth my time. I'd be like, you know what? That's funny cuz Taryn Manning looks the part. She looks like a Karen, these fake things that are on YouTube where it's like, oh, racist conservative white woman, Karen and all that. Yeah, I don't know. I maybe I've seen enough of reality TV to just be able to tell immediately that a lot of that shit's fake. Maybe a lot of people are gullible nowadays. We already know everybody's gullible nowadays. Just look at healthcare. But the thing that really stuck out to me. So, throughout this entire movie, you were supposed to immediately think that the Karen character is evil, she's irredeemable, and all of this. She is evil, and by the end, she is contemplating just murdering the couple. But before that, if you actually listen to the dialogue and listen to how our main characters talk to her, like immediately without any reason, without any actual reason to be mad at her before they know she's racist. Before. They're very condescending, where they talk to her like she's an idiot, which is not what you want to do if you want to have a friendly interaction with your neighbor. Imagine if you walked up to your neighbor that you're just now meeting. You just came into this new neighborhood and you said, "Oh, well, do this or do this not, or don't do this." Or if you talk like fucking Corey Hardrick, and you're like, "Yeah, man, how you doing? Welcome to the neighborhood. We just got into the neighborhood, man. We just, if you need anything, just come over and talk to us." Like, when you are on purpose, like, talking like that to someone that doesn't know you, especially someone that doesn't know you, even with people you know, like, mumbling is a rude thing to do. No matter what skin color you are, mumbling at someone while having a conversation is very rude. Not just that, these people don't know you, and it'll come off as if you were forcing yourself to come over and introduce yourself rather than wanting to be a good neighbor. Now, am I saying that everything in the movie would have been avoided had they been nicer to her? No. But in the writer wanting you, like, the writer wants you to feel bad for these main characters, but I really don't. They're kind of dickheads. Like, there was really no one to root for, because Jasmine or whatever, um, fuck is her name? Imani. Like, Imani, when she goes over to, like, bring a pecan pie to Karen, like, she's telling her, she was trying to, like, be nice to her, give her something, and then say, hey, like, a normal conversation would be like, okay, so I see that you have these security cameras, and there's one that I see it's pointed directly at my house. Would you mind moving it so that our house isn't right in front of your security camera, like moving it down so that we're not being watched because we have fears of being watched? Like, something like that would have been more of a realistic thing to ask. When she goes there, she's very abrasive, very rude, actually. I know I shouldn't be talking because I'm kind of rude at times too, but she's like, the security camera, it's pointing at my house. Move it. Like, what the fuck do you expect her to say to you? Like, I know you're supposed to, like, be so, like, disgusted when she throws away the pecan pie that Imani made for her, but, like, she was being a bitch. Like, what the fuck did you expect her? What did you expect her reaction to be when you're like, your security camera is pointing at my house, move it? Like, why? Like, do you not understand that just because you were in the right doesn't mean you should instigate? There's a bit later where Corey's character, the fuck is his character's name? Malik, is being arrested wrongfully by these cops. One of them is Karen's brother, and the other is the one who's nice, so he's a pushover. So if you're, again, guys, if you're white in this universe, you're either racist or a pushover. And if you're black, like the main characters, you smoke weed, have an illegal firearm. These are things that the main characters actually do. Um, you only talk about sex, apparently. And what else? Oh, you get kicked out of a restaurant, you start beating on the windows like a fucking rabid animal. That's what this film is saying. That's what the black characters in this film do. You could say that's slightly racist, but who the fuck knows? Um, I don't think this director likes any fucking people, like of any race or anything. So who knows? But there's a later bit where Malik, I keep forgetting his name, Malik and Amani, amazing names for these characters. Um, Very stereotypical names too. But he's being wrongfully arrested because the officer plants like a fuck ton of weed on him. It's like a 16-ounce like freezer bag full of weed, and I'm like, that's a shit ton of weed. And he says like it's more than an ounce, becomes a felony or whatever. But what Corey does here, Malik does here, he constantly is like trying to fight back. And I understand this is a shitty circumstance. Yes, there are bad cops. Not all white cops are bad. Not all black cops are good. There's bad on every side. Acting like there's one side, making it that black and white like thing there where it's like, oh, all white cops are bad. All white cops want to kill black people. That's stupid. I'm sorry. If you feel that way, I'm sorry, you're stupid. You don't understand that you right there, the person who apparently hates stereotypes, are stereotyping. But he keeps instigating it. Like, yes, racist white cop is trying to arrest him for something he didn't do. But when you continue to like when these people make these videos where they got their phone out and they're like, I'm sorry, who were you again? Do you not understand that I'm a lawyer? Talking to someone like that in a very like angry tone, that is instigating. When you start yelling at someone who is already angry and beyond the point of reasoning, which this person is, then that's only going to make things worse. And he could have very easily gotten himself killed. The best thing to do in this situation is to deal with it and then later tell somebody about it. Because when all you're doing is basically just, like, because the guy's like, license and registration. He says, "Why am I being arrested for?" Or excuse me, I have to do it in Corey Hardrick's voice. Why am I being arrested for? Well, why did you pull me over? And he says, "I'm asking the questions." And he's another one of the worst actors in this movie. Is the fucking actor playing the brother of Karen, and he basically takes him out of the car and all this, and like Malik keeps making jokes about it and all this, and I'm like, okay, what you do in this circumstance is just shut the fuck up. That's the best option. If you were afraid of being killed in any circumstance, not even just a racist cop circumstance, shut up. Because anything you say could tip somebody over the edge. Am I saying these people deserve, or am I saying anyone who is being harassed by a cop like this deserves it? Fuck no. But there are ways to diffuse the situation or not make the situation go further. And a lot of videos that I see online of people saying, oh, this racist cop is about to beat the shit out of me. I'm sorry for you. I really am. But there are ways to diffuse the situation rather than screaming at the top of your lungs and saying, oh, racist cop, racist cop. Calling someone a racist doesn't seem to diffuse many situations. But yeah, and he ends up like getting his eye hurt because he like Malik actually punches the cop. Like, why on God's green earth would you do this? Like, that is one of the worst things he could have done. So yeah, the main characters, while not 100% unlikable, they're not likable enough for me to root for them because they constantly do shit that I'm like, okay, these aren't real people. And if this is how a real person acts, where you think a cop is racially profiling you or whatever and you punch them, don't punch a cop even if it's a racist one because you could very easily get yourself killed. So, like, oh my God, what else do I say about this movie? Oh yeah, the end credits are like, it's like if you made an African Bond movie, like the Bond movies where they have the like naked women or scantily clad women that are like dancing in front of a green screen or whatever, and they're like silhouette and all that. They do that, but it's in the colors of the African flag, which I'm like, this is really funny. Like the this director thinks that this is like good representation, and it's playing like a stereotypical African song. Excuse me. And then you go to like the last 4 minutes of credits, which is white on black, your normal thing. And they play like 12 different songs. They're playing like one or two verses of each song and then they go to the next one. Like usually when you do that, you wait for the entire you wait until after the chorus and then you go to another song or whatever. For this movie, they do that for like 20 different songs. It's like they wanted to put all these songs throughout the film, but they didn't have the room in the film. There's a bit there's the bit before Malik gets stopped by the cop where they're playing what sounded like CeeLo Green, where it's like, "Well, how do we go from whips and chains to whips and chains?" Like they thought that was so clever. They thought that was so clever. Coke Daniels, you were an auteur. Like, oh my God, this movie, it's just so embarrassing to watch. And yes, I don't give low scores that often because I usually can find things to enjoy in films. And if a movie isn't ungodly boring or ungodly, irredeemably horribly made like this, where again, I can see what Tara Manning is going for and the music isn't awful and all that, but overall, just everything it stands for is just disgusting to me. It's just like the ending of this movie is just so fucking preachy, talking about we can't say all one of the lines, we can't say that all lives matter until Black Lives Matter. That's a really weird nihilistic statement you said there. So no one else can matter. Asian people can't matter, Hispanic people can't matter. Um, what else? Scottish, Irish, British people can't matter until Black Lives Matter. Cool. Great, great way to get a lot of people to watch your movie. Also, why does this movie look like it cost like less than $1 million? BET is a fucking huge company. There's a reason why a lot of these all mostly black cast, black directed movies fail. And it's because none of the good people in any particular group are put into these things. Like Black Panther. Like, I don't fucking know the director of Black Panther, but when I saw it, I was fucking pissed. I was like, even the Marvel movies that I'm not into are better than this. It's not because the character is black, and using that as saying that anyone who didn't like a movie directed by a black person or starring black people is racist is really a shit statement to make. And again, accusing someone of racism is no small thing. You can ruin someone's career just by accusing them of racism. I got my fucking job taken from me because I was accused of racism when I said nothing racist. But like with Black Panther, I was like, yeah, this feels like they put the B level Marvel, B tier Marvel people on this. And that's exactly what it felt like to me because it just CGI sucked, the action sucked, the acting, even from Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. I thought he was a good actor, but not in that. But yeah, like if we keep doing shit like this, of course black entertainment isn't going to get better. If you keep putting the less good people on the black stuff, like less talented writers and directors, this director sucks. His direction sucks in this. This is such a lazy movie. But yeah, like if you keep doing this shit, then of course it's gonna fail. But yeah, this is just an embarrassing movie for everyone involved. It it's horribly written, horribly shot, and just again, the main characters aren't worth a shit. They're not likable, really. So yeah, that was my review of Karen. If you've seen the film, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, put those down there as well. And movie reviewer next door.